Number 10. The Soul Stealer Box. In the 1800s, people ran from cameras, not because of a bad hair day, but because they believed you were stealing their soul. When photography first appeared, the technology was terrifying. You point a box at someone, and their face appears on a piece of paper. The working theory was that the camera was capturing something real, your soul. People were so scared they refused to be photographed while alive, but they were fine with it after they died. This led to post-mortem photography, where Victorian families would prop up dead relatives for a final family portrait. Grandma could be dead for 3 days and still be propped in a chair, dressed in her best clothes. The logic? Dead people don't need their souls anymore, so the camera could have it. For many poor families, this was the only photograph they ever owned. Some photographers even painted eyes onto the developed photos to make the dead look more alive, which is somehow worse. The fear wasn't just a folktale. Some Native American and African communities refused cameras for the same reason. Given what we do with photos now, maybe they were onto something. Number 9. The canned death sentence. It's 1880. Your grandmother holds a tin can. She has no idea if it's dinner or a death sentence. This wasn't drama. This was just Tuesday. The early days of canned food were a game of Russian roulette with a tin opener. The bullet was botulism, a toxin so deadly a single gram can kill over 1 million people, and it loves dark, airless containers, exactly like a can. You couldn't see it, smell it, or taste it. The can of peaches looked fine. Then 3 days later, half the family couldn't breathe. The first symptom is blurry vision, then muscle failure, then you can't swallow. Your brain stays completely sharp the whole time. Canned food was invented for Napoleon's armies, but the science wasn't understood. They were sealing mystery into metal. Some labels literally said, "If the can bulges, do not open," which implies people were absolutely opening the bulging cans. Food was expensive, and you weren't about to waste a whole can of beef. Today, modern canning has made botulism from commercial cans almost unheard of. We eat cold soup from the tin at midnight without a thought. Something that once required genuine courage is now what you grab when you can't be bothered to cook. Number 8. The dangerous mute button. When aspirin appeared in the early 1900s, doctors hated it. Pain, they argued, was your body's alarm system screaming that something is wrong. This little white pill promised to just turn it off. They believed if you silenced the pain, you'd ignore the cause. You'd feel fine while something terrible got worse inside you. It was like taking a pill to silence a smoke alarm instead of putting out the fire. This fear wasn't entirely baseless. People with congenital insensitivity to pain can't feel it at all. They break bones and don't notice. They get infections that go ignored until it's too late. Pain is a vital signal, but aspirin doesn't just mute the signal. It blocks the chemicals, prostaglandins, that cause inflammation and pain. It doesn't just silence the alarm, it helps put out the fire. Then scientists discovered it also thins your blood, which is incredibly useful for preventing heart attacks and strokes. The drug our grandparents thought was a dangerous mute button is now a life-saving medication prescribed to millions. Number 7. The kitchen radiation box. When microwaves first showed up, people calmly and seriously believed the machine would cook their organs, and they weren't wrong to be suspicious. The word radiation was in the name. It was the 1950s. The government had just blown up islands with nuclear bombs, so when a salesman said, "Hey, want to put a radiation box in your kitchen?" people had reasonable questions. The first home microwave, the Radarange, weighed 750 pounds and cost about $50,000 in today's money. Early users reported food tasting wrong, gray meat, rubbery bread. Nobody knew how to use it. There were rumors that standing too close could make you sterile, and the fear wasn't totally made up. Early microwaves did leak radiation, so much that the government set safety standards in 1971, years after they were already in homes. Compare that to today. You put yesterday's coffee in the microwave, stand directly in front of it, and get annoyed that it's taking 45 seconds. Your grandparents were drawing tape lines on the floor. You're pressing your face against the glass. Number 6. A preview of death. When X-rays were invented, people thought they were seeing a preview of their own death. In 1895, Wilhelm Röntgen took the first X-ray of his wife's hand. Seeing her bones and wedding ring, she said, "I have seen my own death." That was the normal reaction. For centuries, the skeleton was a symbol of death, the Grim Reaper, skulls on poison bottles. When a machine showed you your own bones, your brain connected the dots in the worst way. Religious groups called it devil's technology. And the fear wasn't just symbolic. Early X-ray machines had no safety limits. Radiologists would run their hands through the beams to test if the machine was working. Within years, many developed severe radiation burns, then cancer. Clarence Daly, an X-ray pioneer, lost both arms before dying at 39. His colleague Thomas Edison was so disturbed he refused to ever work with X-rays again. Compare that to now. You break your wrist, get an X-ray, and post it on Instagram with the caption, "Guess I won't be at the gym for a while." The same image that made your great-great-grandmother see her own mortality is now social media content.